So if you are interested in programming, this is how that will work. And this example would use the Dive into JavaScript page and resources, but this will apply the same whether you're doing JavaScript or Python or HTML, CSS, and any others that we set up in the future. Initially, there'll be the quest that you get ready for, and then there'll be a repeatable quest after that. And then there'll be 3 resources on your page, in addition to the video, which I'm recording. One will be a link to the REPL.IT course. Another will be a link to the W3 Schools JavaScript reference, or Python reference, HTML reference. And a third will be to a playlist or tutorial on YouTube. And those 3 things will work together in certain ways. So let's take a look at that. First, let's look at the playlist. In this case, this is just a decent playlist where they walk through JavaScript in small steps. And there's, as you can see, quite a lot of steps here. So you can find the one that references the things that you need to learn and watch just those few minutes and then go back to whatever you're working on. So this is a resource for you with videos teaching the JavaScript elements or the Python elements or the HTML elements that you need. And then there's the W3 Schools page for JavaScript or Python or HTML and CSS. W3 Schools page is set up as a tutorial. So you could walk through and go through their pages bit by bit as they go through the sequence and learn JavaScript or Python or HTML and CSS as they have it set up here. That certainly could work. I don't find that their tutorials are as helpful as learning it myself for a couple of reasons, and I'll be happy to talk to you about that if you're interested. If you want to, just give it a shot. Walk through and find one of their exercises where it says try it yourself, see how that works, read through the materials. But I find this more useful myself as a reference. So if I was interested in, say, the if-then sequence, which are conditionals, I might scroll down until I find conditions here, pull that page up, and then I'll just read through this section to understand the material. But the REPL.IT classroom is the one that I would prefer. And the link will take you in, and let's go back to your dashboard here. You'll come into a dashboard, something like this, once you've logged in with your Google account. And I'll open up my JavaScript work. And these are all the assignments in the classroom. There's a lot of them here so that you can go through and learn JavaScript one small piece at a time. So let's take a look at the first exercise, is old enough to drink here. And this is perhaps familiar if you've already worked in Scratch and other places. This is where you will type your code. This is your workspace. Down here in the lower left is a console where you'll see the results of running your code. And over on the right are instructions, and then you'll also get feedback from me here once you've submitted your work, if it's not completed or if I think you could do it better. Then I will actually type back to you and you'll see that show up over here as well. Now, once you've typed your code in here to replace the comment that's on here, you can run it and see what happens right here in the browser console. You'll actually see what goes on. There's also, for each of these, if you click the down arrow, there's a run tests option. And what that will do is, based on the actual code that should be in here, this will run some tests to see whether it works as expected. So for example, if I run tests right now here, it's going to run is old enough to drink with something that is, and so your code should return a true, somebody that is old enough to drink, and it will try it with an age that is too young to drink. And so your code should return false. And then it will tell you which worked and which didn't. So here, if I just run this, of course, it's going to fail both times. And it should have returned true for the first test, false for the second test. So I have 2 failures and it didn't work the way it was expected, so I can go back and work on it some more. So this is a way that you can see what your results are, and so that you can see based on the testing what the results are from the expected one. And then when you get all the right results, you're ready to hit submit. One thing you can do before that is maybe you've got some code in here and it's not working the way you expect. So we'll just put in a quick console command. And then maybe that doesn't work the way you expect when you run it. So if I run that, I get something that comes out here, but it doesn't come out the way I would expect it to come out with some actual text. So maybe then I ask my teacher, what's wrong here? Doesn't this show up, Mr. Miller? And this comment will actually be in the code so that if you click submit, I will get to see that. And then I can write you an answer and that will show up back over here on the right-hand side from me. And you'll note, if you've got sharp eyes, that there's no due dates on any of these. This can take as long as you need it to take. So if you have questions about how the programming environment works or how the 3 different resources are intended to work together, drop in the Google Meet, let me know. Otherwise, this is how this will work through, and then feel free to code as quickly as you want to, test it against the results, and send me questions.